All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm Alexis Kraft, joined here with Jake Ellenbogen, and we are coming to you live tonight, Thursday, December 26th, to preview our Rams matchup against the Arizona Cardinals this Saturday night. Some Saturday night football. You've got the Rams taking on Arizona at the end of a slate of Saturday night games. So that'll be fun. That's a little different. So we're going to talk about that matchup this weekend. We'll also touch a little bit on the Rams win over the Jets, 19-9. They were able to go to MetLife and get the W. Jake was there. So, Jake, you've been present for a Rams loss this season, and you've been present for a Rams win. Obviously, we know the latter is more fun. And you had a lot more fun at that game, even though it sounds like you were freezing, right? It sounds like you were quite literally frozen.
Yeah, hand warmers in the glove, and I still got frostbite. I was trying to text you during the game, and my fingers weren't working. And then my face,
Yeah.
people came up to me, asked for pictures and whatnot, and I'm trying to have like a conversation with these people, and my face was like I could barely talk. So yes, it was cold as hell. Well, hell's not supposedly cold, but it was cold. I mean, it was very cold. And I just want to preface, by saying this. We, like, our job, as people that analyze the game and react to the games and things like that, is like to keep it real. Like, we're going to give credit. We're also going to discredit players and, call out bad play. But anybody calling out anybody for the way that they played in that game, I just can't do it because I could barely move. And I was up in the seats. And you had these guys running full speed. And it was a crazy, crazy game because of how cold it was. I think it totally impacted what the Rams wanted to do. They ran the ball with Kyron. They ran the ball with Blake. They only had Matthew Stafford throw it a few times. I mean, he ends up with 110, passing yards. So it was kind of wild. It really was, Alexis. I would say this. You went to the right MetLife game because that one was not one to, especially to travel from the Midwest and go to that. That was not the game
Yeah.
to go to.
Yeah, the game I was at MetLife was beautiful weather. I mean, it was a little chilly, but there was a
Yeah.
lot of sun, so it was kind of like that perfect football weather to where, I had a jersey on, I had a hoodie underneath my jersey, and I felt fine. So I definitely agree with you. I think I was at the better MetLife game in terms of weather and score because, I mean, the Rams obliterated the Giants when I went to that
They
game.
did.
But you know what? We still won against the Jets, and that's what matters. Is it wasn't necessarily a pretty win, wasn't a really pretty score, 19-9.
No.
Not pretty, but you know what? I thought that the Rams played well, like you touched on. The passing game wasn't really there. I thought the Jets did a relatively good job. Through the air, but Kyron Williams, 23 carries, 122 yards, one touchdown. I was close to hitting the prediction. My prediction was over 100 yards and two touchdowns from Kyron. I was close. He only got the one, but that's all right.
I
So
got
yeah,
my prediction. Tyler Higbee.
yes, you did. You got the Tyler Higbee touchdown, which was just like a cinematic moment to watch.
Oh
It
my
was it was
God.
kind of one that like as soon as he got the ball, I was just like, you know what?
Everything,
He's
the earth
scoring. It
stood
makes
still.
sense. Hmm.
Seeing that
Yeah.
live, you saw it come together, and I was like, "Oh my God, Tyler Higbee's open, throw it!" And my dad's like, "No, I think he's in there just to block or be a decoy or whatever." I was like, "No, no, there he is. He's." And I was like, "Wait, that is Tyler Higbee, right?" And then I knew it was when he took off and he freaking dunked on the end zone because essentially nobody else in the roster is scoring there, which brings us to the point where we were trying to explain how Tyler Higbee adds a dynamic to this offense that wasn't previously there. We were hoping it would be. We both interviewed Colby Parkinson, right? I'm a big Davis Allen fan, and I've become a fan of Hunter Long's game. I think he should get more opportunities. With that said, though, I can't stress enough, Tyler Higbee just adds this dynamic that is not otherwise shown on the field. And so I think that is important to point out. Man of Paradox, Super Chat. Hi, Jake
Thank
slash
you.
Alexis. Saturday night. D-Rob, 2 touchdowns, Big Rig touchdown, and Spike, and my man Tutu touchdown. Love you both. Happy New Year. Well, we love you too, and wow. So you got 4 touchdown passes from Matthew Stafford. I don't think that's crazy. What say you, Alexis?
I don't think that's crazy at all. I also think, kind of switching gears away from the Jets game, talking about this Cardinals game, you know, we faced the Cardinals earlier this season and it went horribly. So let's get that out of the way. When the Rams met, and listen, I know that it was a different Rams team, a little bit banged up at that point, when we played the Cardinals. There was not an excuse for that game. That game was just one of those NFL games where a team gets absolutely, I think, clobbered, and there's no excuse for it other than they got outplayed, and that was not how you and I were expecting that game to go.
No.
I don't think that happens tonight, and we're going to talk about, or Saturday night, excuse me, and we're going to talk about why.
You're that quick to get to Saturday, are you?
well, I mean, I just want to touch on the fact, like, we're talking about this game, because what I'm going to say for my predictions against the Cardinals is I think it's going to be a very different game than it was earlier in the season, because I think the Rams there's a vengeance there. There's a little bit of a revenge game scenario. So when you lose that badly to a team in a game like that it was against Arizona, you definitely remember that going into your second meetup, of the season. So I do agree with, Mana Paradox and anybody who thinks it's going to be a touchdown show on Saturday, because I think the Rams really have something to prove. And let's also talk about the playoff implications, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the chat right now, for everybody listening via audio, we are recording this live. There are listeners who are chatting with us as we record this. People are talking about the Bears game tonight. So the Bears play the Seahawks tonight. Every Rams fan listening needs to be cheering for the Chicago Bears tonight. It's not, and I'll let Jake kind of explain. He explains all of this playoff implications really eloquently, and I do not. I kind of have to talk myself through it. It's a lot of steps. But Jake, please explain for us what we should be cheering for tonight, Bears versus Seahawks, and what will happen Saturday night if we win or lose.
Yes. So, obviously, you're cheering for the Bears. The Bears, it's frustrating. They beat the Rams earlier in the year, but they can make up for it by beating Seattle. It's in Chicago. It's on a short week. Seattle was coming off a heartbreaking loss where they were going down the field and they threw a game-losing interception to the Minnesota Vikings. This game is huge because if Seattle loses this, then if the Rams win on Saturday, there is zero chance that Seattle, regardless of the Week 18 outcome, can win the division. They can't win any tiebreaker, no chance. But if Seattle wins on Thursday, while still very unlikely, as long as the Rams handle their business on Saturday, then realistically speaking, we're talking about a 1% chance of Seattle getting in with all the different things that need to be had. And I saw a tweet about this. It was like a graphic, and I want to find it because it really did a nice job of kind of showing you, what the hell has to happen for, here it is. Okay. So shout out to Dennis Selman 33. If Rams lose to Arizona, Week 18 is for the NFC West, regardless of Thursday Night Football. Makes sense. If Rams beat Arizona, Seahawks' only chance is to win both of their games and get a strength of victory miracle. So this man color-coded, and I'm going to try and bring this up. I never do this, but I'm going to try to bring it up here on the thing. So let's see here. We're going to try and present this because I think this is great. All right. There we go. Let's go. Visuals are great. Okay, let's lower that so you guys can actually see what the top says. All right. So the Rams need 5 of the 17 to have the strength of victory. Seattle needs 14 of the 17. So how does this work? Well, so Dennis color-coded all this, right? So the Rams would need the Saints because they beat the Saints to get that 1 point, right? However, the Saints got absolutely creamed, so that went to Seattle. Seattle has 1 point. Rams just need 5, keep in mind. So if Cincinnati beats Denver, right, because Denver played Seattle, then Cincinnati is a point towards the Rams because it hurts Seattle's strength of victory. It makes Denver's record less. So then you have the Minnesota game. The Rams beat Minnesota, and Seattle lost to Minnesota, so that goes in the Rams' favor. So that would be 2 points. The Rams would only need 3 more after that. Buffalo to beat the Jets, which I would have to imagine they're going to do that. There's 3. Cleveland to beat Miami, not a guarantee because they beat Miami. Seattle did, and the Rams did not, so that would go in favor of Seattle. Washington to beat Atlanta. I like their chances there. San Francisco to beat Detroit. I don't like their chances there at all. And then week 18, and this is the thing, if 5 of these things happen in the Rams' favor, then the strength of victory is clinched. Like it's done before week 18. But if you don't have that happen, right, you don't have these things work, then week 18, you're okay. Because if San Francisco beats Arizona, that's going to be 2 points. And that would pretty much end it for the Rams. Minnesota beats Detroit, that would end it for the Rams. Buffalo beats New England, that would end it for the Rams. So a lot of things here. Just the point here is that strength of victory is going to be a win-loss percentage of the teams that you played. So that's why if Seattle has played some of their own teams where the Rams don't share that team, or if the Rams do share that team on the schedule and Seattle beat them, but the Rams didn't, that would go in favor of Seattle. So a lot of different stuff here, but really, this is a long shot, Alexis. This is like hitting hitting the lottery almost. I mean, it's going to be really difficult to have to rely. I mean, look at who Seattle has to rely on. They need Chicago to beat Green Bay. You know what I mean? Like, they need Chicago to beat Green Bay. They need Denver to beat Kansas City, right? Like, this stuff isn't guaranteed at all. And it's not guaranteed for the Rams, but it is a reminder that this is what they need to do. So, shout out to Dennis Selman 33 on Twitter for putting this out there. I like the whole, this thing, like kind of just the visualization of everything. I don't know if this helped, this hurt you, like in any way. But yeah, that's how that is.
Well, yeah, I think for starters, everybody, starting with tonight, Thursday Night Football, it would really do the Rams a solid if the Bears could win.
Yes,
We don't technically, like Jake said, we don't need them to win, but it does make things a lot more simple if, the Bears can beat the Seahawks take the loss. So we'll see. But I will say, so I live in Chicago, and a lot of Bears fans are actually rooting for the Bears to lose tonight. Because they've kind of made up this scenario, which I guess is kind of true. I don't know how true it is, that if the Bears just lose out, they'll get a higher draft pick, right? And whatever. Not all Bears fans are thinking that way. I know a great deal of Bears fans who want the team to lose tonight. So in a weird way, Rams fans are rooting harder for the Chicago Bears to win tonight than a lot of Bears fans are, which I think is a little funny. So we'll see. Obviously, I don't think that the Bears are going into the game with that mentality. I think they're going to try to win. And I hope they do win for all the reasons we talked about, Jake. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Like you said, the game is in Chicago. It's a home game for them. They have home field advantage. So, yeah, we'll see how the game turns out. You and I will be watching, as I know a lot of Rams fans will be when we get done recording this episode. But turning to the Rams, away from this Bears-Seahawks game, Jake, going into Saturday night. I keep wanting to say Sunday, reminding everybody it's Saturday night. Don't forget. The Rams are playing Saturday night, December 28th, 8 o'clock Eastern time, I believe. So what do you think, Jake, is the number one play for the Rams to beat this Arizona Cardinals team because, like I mentioned earlier, we struggled against them when we first played them. I feel like our defense though has really solidified and came together since we played Arizona the first time because if everybody remembers correctly, it was really painful watching Kyler Murray basically dissect the Rams defense when we first played them. And I feel like a large portion of that had to do with the fact we had a young defense. They looked good in the season opener, but then they kind of showed where they were at that second game of the season against Arizona. There was no chemistry. They weren't really playing well together. They looked confused a lot of the time. So now that we're at the end of the season, I feel like it's going to feel a lot differently on defense. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because the Cardinals really aren't playing for a whole lot aside for pride. But I want to make it very clear that when a team like the Cardinals gets eliminated in a season where obviously the players thought they were going to go to the playoffs, but the reality is a lot of us felt like they were probably going to win like maybe 7 games and show out and really get people excited for the future. That's what the Cardinals are. Okay, they've set themselves up well where, they've drafted well. They have traded for the right guys. They have acquired the right pieces, and they have over $100 million in cap space next year. They brought back Budda Baker finally. It felt like he's been trying to get paid for 8 years. I don't even think he's been in the league for 8 years, but it just felt like that. But when you talk about the Cardinals, winning out could really do a lot for their confidence moving forward. If this team finishes 9-8, we're talking a completely different thing. And that's where the whole, I want a better draft pick. That's where I don't care about all that. I just, maybe it's just because I watched really bad Rams football in St. Louis as you did. Maybe that's it, but I don't care about draft picks because look, if you don't think that they can trade up 5 spots to go out and get the guy they want, if it ends up being that, I don't know what to tell you. You don't need, a wicked high draft pick. What you do need is stability. You need some momentum, and you need to actually build upon the foundation you set. It sets a really bad example if the Cardinals lose out here and go 7-10. No doubt about it. It's just not a good look. However, if they finish the season 9-8, they recovered, they missed the playoffs by a game or whatever, and now you can build off that. And not all the time, Alexis, but most of the time, obviously injuries come into play, but most of the time, the hottest teams at the end of the previous year are the teams that come into next year as, the sleeper teams, the dark horse teams, the teams that really kind of, push their momentum in the following season. So I think the Rams are going to get a fight from Arizona. Now, I know they're not going to have likely their left tackle or their right tackle. They are banged up. That's not a shock there. But I still think they're going to give the Rams a fight. I just don't think they're as talented as the Rams. The Rams are healthier. The last time the Rams played Arizona, here was the starting lineup. You had Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams, Tyler Johnson, Cooper Kupp for a half, Demarcus Robinson, Colby Parkinson. Then you had Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein, Bo Limmer, Warren McClendon Jr., and Jonah Jackson. So the offense, without Puka Nacua, but for the most part, the offense was pretty much what they're going to see. Now you had Tyler Higbee, maybe Havenstein doesn't play. And then you look at the defense, and the defense was Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, Bobby Brown, Byron Young, Jared Verse. Sounds right. However, then you had Troy Reeder, John Johnson, Quentin Lake, Travarius Ward, Kobe Durant, Cameron Curl. So there were some different pieces around this team when they last played the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, when they played the Rams, they also had some different pieces as well. But I think the big thing here for the Rams is that they have retooled their secondary. They didn't have Darius Williams. They didn't have Akello Witherspoon. I think he signed after this game to the practice squad, but they did not have him. John Johnson was like their go-to safety earlier in the year. He goes down. Then you find Jalen McCullough later on in the year. You find guys like Cameron Kinchins, who got absolutely exposed in this game, but really built himself up as the season progressed, right? Troy Reeder, no, you have Christian Roseboom now, who's trying to set the Rams record for tackles in a season. And you got Omar Spates. So you have all these new guys, and this is kind of just the NFL in a nutshell. time goes on and things change, Warren McClendon Jr. is not starting for this team. Jonah Jackson is not starting for this team. Whether I think they should give him a shot at right tackle or not, because I would rather have him play the Noteboom right now if Havenstein can't go, he's not starting for this team. So a lot of different variables here. It goes back to week 2 as well. This team was vastly different than what they are right now. And I think a big thing here, Alexis, is what a lot of people might be shocked to see, is if you've already forgotten the Bills game and you're just going by the fact that the Rams didn't score a touchdown in the 49er game on a short week in the pouring rain. And if you're forgetting about the fact that they played in the coldest temperatures in the Sean McVay era and they only scored 19 points, well, be ready, because this is going to be at SoFi Stadium. They haven't been there since the Bills game when they scored 44. So it's just a reminder. I know it feels like it was a while ago now, but I don't think this offense is gone. I think they've been in hibernation because of the cold, and I think they're ready to unleash themselves in front of everybody on Saturday night.
I agree. I think we're in for a big game from the offense. And just to touch on kind of the defense, like we just kind of talked about the difference between week 2, right? And, now week 17 or whatever it is, playing against, the same Arizona team. The chemistry, I think, is going to be apparent. Like I said, that week 2 game, something that we really talked about, and I know other Rams fans talked about as well, was just how confused that defense looked against Arizona and how Arizona was able to exploit a young defense that was still learning and who's kind of playing with each other, lack of chemistry. Like the confusion was apparent. Like you could literally watch the Rams players on the field kind of looking around, not sure what's going on. That's going to change. And I think that's going to be a big factor in this game. Shout out Super Chat that Jake just put out on the screen.
Shout out Gene.
Gene said, worried about our tackles' health. They are crucial. Yes, agree. Jake, let's start there, talking about specifically what we think is going to happen on offense. What do you think this tackle situation indicates for Saturday? Do we think Rob is going to be able to play?
I do. I think they're trying to be very cautious with this. I also think they wanted this to get out to let people know, like, he's going through something. So if you see some dips in his production and what have you, this is why. Now, it's annoying because they did just have an injury report right before Christmas that felt like a Christmas gift. Nobody was on the injury report. I was so tempted to copy and paste that and put it on a shirt and sell it, or just better yet, just wear it all the time, because it made me feel something. But then the next day they're like, yeah, Rob Havenstein shoulder. It's like, come on. So I think he already said, Sean McVay already said, if he can't go, Joseph Noteboom will be the right tackle. My issue is Joseph Noteboom is not a right tackle at all in this league. He is a solid left tackle. I watched him play against the Giants last year. In a pinch, they threw him in 3 hours before the game because Alec Jackson couldn't do it. And guess what? He didn't allow a sack. He didn't allow a pressure. He was really good there. But you're not going to move Alec Jackson, who's playing at a very high level right now, to right tackle just because Joe Noteboom can only play left tackle or guard. So therein lies my concerns with a potential game without Rob Havenstein, because it just takes one guy on the offensive line to have a terrible game, and then all of a sudden, the rest of your offensive line is feeling the effects of it. And I feel like Sean is really going to have to do his best to make sure that these guys are getting chipped on the right side if it is Noteboom. But I'm going to be honest with you. I would really try and do something creative here. I might. Well, I'm not going to say I might. I would. And I don't know if he can do it, but I know Joseph Noteboom can't do it. I would play Jonah Jackson at right tackle. I would. I think he's built for that. I think he could absolutely play right tackle. He'd be good in the run game. I just know from watching Joseph Noteboom, he is not a right tackle in the NFL. He's just not. It does not work. He does not look natural. That's the reality of it, And so that's my concern, Alexis, is that I just don't think the right guy is playing in the right position. And I get injuries happen. I understand that. But you have to understand, you're putting Stafford in harm's way. This is a must win. Cardinals are trying to knock you out of the playoffs because the Cardinals look at the Rams as the rival. The Cardinals look at the Rams as the bully. The Cardinals haven't been knocked down by the 49ers the way the Rams have knocked down the Cardinals. So I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say bad blood. I don't feel like the teams despise each other like the Rams and Niners do, but I mean, there's some bad blood. But yeah, I think that would be a mistake. If Noteboom is starting at right tackle, I don't believe he started since the Dolphins game. And we know how that went. So I would temper the expectations there if he ends up playing. I do think Rob Havenstein will play. I just think they're trying to be really cautious with him, understandably so. But I would go with Jonah Jackson at right tackle. And I don't know if he's... And I can look, as you say your piece, I can look and see if Jonah's ever played right tackle. I'm going to go with the guess that he has. But what say you?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, I think, if we're looking short term, we're looking at this game against Arizona. I mean, Matthew Stafford got sacked 5 times
Mm-hmm.
the last time we played Arizona. 3 of those sacks were by Dennis Gardick, who is now on IR.
Yeah.
So not to say, because I'm looking at their depth chart now. And I want to be careful because going into that game, I was like, oh, I don't really know that there's anybody that I'm totally afraid of, their pass rushers, right? And then, Stafford ended up getting sacked, 5 times. Dennis gave them fits. But again, we had a very different offensive line-ish. So I don't know. I think just whatever they decide to do, either they do play Rob or, they put in Note Boom or they do your Jonah Jackson idea, whatever it is that they end up doing. I just think it's going to be critical to protect the quarterback, especially, you get this late into the season. You can't have Stafford getting hurt.
I was wrong.
He hasn't
He's
played
never
right tackle.
played at right tackle. It went all the way back to Rutgers in 2016. I'd still play him there because I know Noteboom can't play there.
So you would rather experiment, and I
Yes.
don't know that I feel okay. I mean, I'm
not saying it's the right
works.
answer. I just live on the edge, but I would do it. I would be like, can it work? Because now this is where it gets fascinating. Because if they could move him to right tackle, Rob Havenstein's contract is almost up. He could end up filling a need instead of a guy that's just going to be let go this offseason and probably traded for pennies on the dollar.
Well,
I don't know.
We did give Jonah a big contract.
Yeah, you did.
And it might be worth, seeing if we can get some use out of him. Because it hasn't worked out, so far. So yeah, I mean, I'm for whatever option doesn't get Matthew Stafford sacked. So if that ends up being, what to do, I'm all for it. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I hate to break it to you. I think they're going to put
they're going to go with Noteboom. If he already said they're going to go with Noteboom if Havenstein doesn't. I would go with McClendon over Noteboom. That's what I would do. But I'm not saying they're great. No, to answer the question in the comment section, no, Noteboom did play. Because that was the big thing about the Dolphins game. They threw 3 new offensive linemen in from the previous week, and they benched Didick, who played well, pitched well, good Lord. He played well, and Bo Limmer. So that game, it wasn't a fluke. It was a direct, response to what happens when you play 3 new offensive linemen on your offensive line after the other guys had kind of gelled. So, I don't know.
Well,
but
I think, I mean, looking offensively, at the Rams, aside from the offensive line, kind of question mark right now. What do you think that their game plan is going to be? Do you think that they're going to look to kind of building off what they did against the Jets and just really hammer the run game? Do you think they're going to try to go balanced offense? I mean, you look at kind of this Arizona depth chart, their secondary, Sean Murphy Bunting, Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker, Starling Thomas, Garrett Williams. Um, which I need to look at their IR again because I feel like there's someone missing from that list. Was it Elijah Jones?
It may have been. I'm
I
actually
think
not sure
Elijah
on that.
Jones started when we played them last at corner, and he is
My
on
thing
IR.
is, if Havenstein isn't playing, then yeah, I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to be conservative. They're going to try and attack the left side. It just sucks because we all know Kyron looks the best when he's running, behind guys like Dotson and Havenstein. If Havenstein can't go, well, now you just have to figure out a way to make it work. And, that's the thing. I mean, when you look at like the rushing direction for Kyron Williams on that game against the Jets, this is somebody who basically was averaging 8 yards per carry running right tackle. He's averaging 7 running right guard, and middle right, which is, of course, the center and the right guard in between those two, he was averaging 5.7. When you move over to the other side, middle left, center and the left guard, 3, 5.2 left guard and left end, which is off the tight end on the left side, he was averaging 5.3. Regardless, he's a very, very good back, and he's going to find ways to make plays. But there's not really a shock to people when you say this guy's clearly better running to the right side because he's got two of the best run blockers at their respective positions. Now, to be fair, in that 49er game, he actually ran better to the left guard. He had 5.4 yards per carry, and they kept running it that way. On the right side, he had 2.3 yards per carry running right guard, 2.8 running middle right, and 4.5 running right tackle. So interesting stuff there. These are things that I focus on. Other people are probably like, I don't give a rip. I just want to win. But I think this stuff matters. And it's just kind of the effect when you lose a guy like Rob Havenstein, this is what you're dealing with. But you know what makes the most sense now that I have this information in front of me? Probably to look at the last time Joseph Noteboom played, right? Which would be the Dolphins game. What did we have moving to the right side? And Kyron Williams only ran the ball near Joseph Noteboom 4 times, and he ran it for 4 yards. So luckily they know middle right, 5 carries, 20 yards, 4 carries, 16. Yeah, right tackle and right end did not go over well. He averaged 7 yards per carry when running to the left end, which is to the tight end and the left tackle. So, yeah, I mean, Noteboom was always considered a better run blocker than a pass protector. You might be able to get away with that, but he's not Havenstein. That's the Havenstein's an enforcer on the offensive line, and when you lose a guy like him, that it's significant.
Well, right. So maybe that means that the Rams are going to be a little bit more inclined if he's not playing to try and get the passing game going, which
Yeah,
hasn't really
maybe.
gone. I think the past couple of games the way that they want it to go. But the secondary. Again, looking at this Arizona secondary, I mean, obviously Buda Baker is the guy you kind of watch out for, right? Um, I don't know that the Rams won't try to target like a Garrett Williams or Starling Thomas. I think Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp are now both playing, and that could really give this Arizona secondary problems, in my opinion. I would not be surprised at all if the Rams came out and just absolutely targeted, some of these corners for Arizona and really sought to look to get the passing game going. I
Williams is
would
having a great year, by the way. He's one of the better corners in the league, I would say. Murphy
really.
Bunting, yeah, he's good.
Is he out of Syracuse?
He's the guy we liked.
Out of Syracuse.
Yes, he tore his ACL, remember, and that's why he
Okay,
fell.
you're right. There's all these Williams corners that I feel like
I
you and I
know.
always like.
Yeah, but no, he's a stud. He really is.
So then
I
is it
mean, he's not getting
Starling?
any love.
You know who else they have? I need to stop looking at the depth chart this way. You know who else they have? Is Max Melton out of Rutgers.
Yeah, he's also a stud. Now he's not
Yeah.
playing on the level of
No. But I'm
Garrett
pulling
Williams,
this up
but
expanded. I'm expanding it, and then they've got Dadrian Taylor
Demerson,
Demerson, who
yeah,
I don't know that I'm familiar with.
yeah.
So
No,
they have him.
he's an athletic guy, hard hitting player, back end of the
And
secondary guy. Baker's having a good year, but I mean, that's to be expected. A lot of people know who he is.
and they've got I think it's pronounced Catrell Clark out of Louisville, who I
Yes,
think we
we.
watched.
I
We
think
didn't. I
we.
don't. Did we?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
We
I
were
just
going to interview. I don't
well, we
remember if we
probably
did or not.
were. Well, he was out of Louisville. I watched his tape, but I don't remember if we interviewed him.
Yeah.
But, I still, again, nevertheless, I still think that the Rams are going to come out and I think they're going to target the secondary. I think that this could be a game where they might have success in the passing game. I think chat, Edwin, thank you so much. Super chat from
Appreciate you,
Edwin.
Edwin. Love you guys. I've been listening. I've listened to AZ Sports Fan, my guy Mike over at NFC West Roundtable, and he and his followers think we are going to blow them out of the water versus Turner and Young sack. I am not going to do this again because the last time that I said they would blow the Cardinals out was week 2. So I don't predict blowouts. It can look like a blowout, but I'm not going to say a blowout's going to happen. That's just me. But no, in all seriousness, the Rams are the better team. They're more talented. It's at home. They're coming off 5 straight road wins. They're coming off wins 4 straight. It's the biggest, win streak of their season. Bigger than any point last year, by the way. They're coming off, establishing the run with Kyron Williams, getting Tyler Higbee back, getting healthy. We'll see what happens with Havenstein, but
Yeah.
no, there is zero excuse for the Rams to lose. If they lose week 18, okay, Seattle, they lost in overtime, right? Then they could have won that game. They shouldn't have been able to win that game. The Rams let them back into it, but yeah, I could understand that. Week 17, however, you're going against a team that embarrassed you. They beat you 31-0. They made you feel like you were nothing. 0-2 to start the season. Now, they responded well, fighting back, beating the 49ers. But Alexis, losses like that can kill your season before they start. And we were talking about it. Like, I was really impressed with their loss against the Lions. I thought what they did with all the injuries they had was something huge. And then they followed it up with that. So if they actually lose this game, because, basically, this is how it works. We keep talking about what happens if the Rams win, yada, yada. What happens if the Rams lose? If the Rams lose, then regardless, that last game, week 18 against Seattle, is a win and you're in, survive and advance playoff game. And it's at home. No excuses. You're playing at home back-to-back games. I don't care that they're your rival. Get it done. And I believe they're going to.
I do as well. So let's get into our score predictions, Jake. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to say, because I actually feel a safety in this game, I'm going to say 33-20.
Interesting.
4 touchdowns, a field goal, and a safety.
So I don't know why my gut says this, but I have the Rams winning. I think it's going to be 27-24 Rams.
Damn.
I think it's going to get close towards the end. But I don't know. Arizona seemed to have our number the first time we played them. Like I said, I know we had injuries, but it really was not an excuse. It was really just bad. It was a bad loss. So I felt like, they were able to kind of get in there. They seemed to kind of know what we wanted to do. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think the Rams are going to win 27-24. Now, I won't be surprised if they win by a much larger margin, but I kind of have that superstition, as I know do you, because when we predicted the score last time they played the Cardinals, we were both very, very wrong. And I'm not going to mess with that again. Again, this is a division rival. This is a team that knows us well. We know them well. I think it's going to be a close game. Jake, going into our bold predictions, did you just give a sneak peek at one? Because you mentioned a safety. Is that one of your bold predictions?
No, because I'll just throw that out there. You know what I mean? It's a freebie. You guys enjoy it. Okay. So, bold prediction. First one. I think we're going to get the first touchdown of the season for Tutu Atwell. God, I feel like I've said this so many times. It's going to happen. It's going to. He might even get two. Because I think the thing that a lot of people might not know is that Puka Nacua, for whatever reason, is not good against the Cardinals. You might not even realize this. In 2 games against the Cardinals, Puka Nacua has 53 yards on 8 catches. He has been targeted in those games 15 times. I don't know what it is, but he has not played well against the Cardinals. Then he didn't get a chance to play in week 2 because he was out. I just think, and I mean, obviously history can be a little weird. Like, why is he bad against the Cardinals? Is he allergic to like the color red? I don't know. But I think with Nacua, he's going to open up the door for others. Now you have Higbee. He's going to open up the door for others. So I think Tutu Atwell is going to have a touchdown this game. Next, I think we get Blake Corum's first touchdown of his career. It just feels so obvious. Like, this would be the game. Because if it gets tight, if it's in a pinch, they're going to just ride with Kyron. But if what I believe is going to happen ends up happening, I think they win comfortably in this one. I'm not saying blowout, but comfortably. Then I think they're going to feel inclined to give Blake Corum an opportunity at the goal line. And I think he's going to punch it in. So that's number 2. And number 3, God, I hate saying this. I feel like I'm jinxing him. But this is the week. And I'm going to say this until he actually does it. Akella Witherspoon is going to have an interception. It is going to happen. He should have had one against the 49ers. Brock Purdy underthrew it. A lot of people think that led to the pass breakup. In terms, it actually just saved him from getting intercepted. And then he could have had it against, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets a couple times, actually. But we'll take the pass breakup on a 4th down and turnover on down. So in this one, Kyler Murray is going to try doing what he did in week 2, moving around, making plays with his legs, and he's going to fire it into maybe double coverage or something, and Kello is going to pick it off. And that is what I have.
I like it. I hope that happens. All of those are very good predictions. You did steal one of mine.
Sorry.
My first one was going to be Blake Corum touchdown.
I could see it in your face.
I know. Right as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, that was going to be one of mine. I feel like I am jinxing that, though, because I've bet on that so much. Almost like basically the past 4 or 5 Rams games, I throw down Blake Corum anytime touchdown because I just feel like you can see that the Rams are trying to get him more involved, I think, towards the goal line. And I think it just, they've just had, situations where they end up kind of needing Kyron in there. And so, Blake gets taken out. But I just feel like, especially if the Rams start to get a lead, like you said, this will be the game to try and, get Blake that first NFL touchdown and get him in there. So we'll share that prediction. Yet again, I will bet on it. Blake Corum anytime touchdown, and hopefully it hits this week. So that's my first prediction. Second prediction, let's see. I feel like Puka is going to break kind of that energy.
He probably
is.
I just wanted to say Tutu Atwell, and I use that as an excuse.
Well, I think we are going to see 2 Puka Nacua touchdowns versus Arizona. Ooh. I just have this gut feeling he's going to have a good game against them and get it going. And, he's Puka Nacua. Nothing's going to stop him, right, for that long. So I think that he's going to have a good game against Arizona. Then on the defensive side of the ball for my last prediction, I'm going to say, I think we're going to see a Cameron Kinchins interception. I just like the way he's been playing. I feel like he's gaining more and more confidence. He is, I think, going to the Cameron Curl School of Tackling. I don't know if anybody else has picked up on that. Like, he will hit, and it is
Yeah.
fun to watch.
McCullough,
Both,
too. It's
yeah,
good
like
watching those guys.
something is in the air. It's kind of this infectious, tackling energy that I love to see. So I think we're going to see an interception from Cameron Kinchins because yeah, I think that he's gotten. I think he struggled as we talked about, to start the season. He was kind of thrown in there early, definitely had some growing pains, and I think he's coming into his own, and I really like to see it. So we'll see. I think all of our predictions were reasonable. Super chat from Edwin.
Edwin, question for both of you. Would you rather spend a day with Kobe Turner or a day with Puka Nacua? You are in LA. You can do whatever you want. Ooh. I'd probably say either because they both seem like they'd be a lot of fun to hang out with. I couldn't decide.
I would say, I know, I would definitely hang out with either one of them for a day. I would say Kobe, I feel like Kobe and I would have a lot in common because he's a big music lover, as am I. Like, I don't feel like I know off the top of my head any like particular hobbies of like Puka, like what we could talk, but maybe that's why I should spend a day with him so I could like get to
Apparently he's big
know
on
him.
anime, and I'm rocking the Goku Game Changers shirt. Shout out to
Yeah.
Holden, by the way, for hooking me up with it. So I mean,
Yeah.
could do something with that. But I actually met Kobe Turner, the in LA, the Rams and Eagles game after that, and seems like a really nice guy. He knew who I was apparently, so that was cool. But you could also throw Avila in there as well. Those guys they feel like there's like an infectious like joy, like they're always smiling. I met
Brendan
Avila after the
Jackson.
game
Brendan
with
Jackson.
Brendan Jackson. I mean, everybody
He
here
has the
probably knows probably knows who he is by now, but we interviewed him and
Yeah, he's got that like he's just
great
like the
dude.
best.
Oh yeah. Quentin
So
Lake.
yeah, I guess Quentin Lake is really cool too. I would say I would hang out with Kobe or Puka. Both. I would hang out with both of them. If I
Yeah,
had to pick,
I would
I
too.
guess the question is, I just feel like Kobe and I on a musical level would have a lot
You
in
can do
common.
whatever you want. So
So
would you go out and just sing like duets with Kobe?
I cannot sing, so no, but I would maybe we just like hit up a ton of concerts. Um, or what would probably happen is Kobe would maybe be performing in a concert and I would go to watch. Like we'd hang out before, and I feel like Kobe would just have like a concert somewhere.
I feel like Puka and I would probably go to like a Laker game and then go to like Comic-Con. And I
Probably.
feel like Kobe and I would probably go to probably like a Laker game and I don't know, see a concert, something like that. Nothing too crazy. I'm not a very like crazy outgoing person. So, yeah, I know that's probably a boring answer, but that's the answer. Edwin, appreciate you. And then Happy Gilmore, which by the way, Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out on Netflix this upcoming year. Looking forward to that. Happy Gilmore gave us 10. Thanks for the content,
Thank you.
Jake and Alexis. So we appreciate you guys. And I guess we're going to wrap it up because Alexis, all eyes are on this game tonight. This is
Yeah.
probably the most publicity the Bears have had in quite some time this late in the season for a completely different reason.
Not from their own fans,
Yeah.
by the way,
So
from Rams fans.
so we got we're going to help you guys out. We got a deal on the channel. Of course, you can use code JKBogan for today's sponsor, PrizePicks. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play at least a $5 lineup, win or lose. And because we love you guys so much, we are going to head on over to our trusty PrizePicks app here. And we're going to pick some of these. So, Alexis, everyone is riding the JSN wave. The question is, are you one of those people?
Am I? Yes.
So I'm going to go with more as well. I think he's their wide receiver one. I've been really impressed with him. I used to call him out all the time, said he was overrated. He has proven me wrong. I think he is going to have more than 75.5. In addition to that, Alexis, I really like the 5.5 here. I'm going to avoid 6. I don't like pushing, and this would be a push, I think. I think he's going to have exactly 6. But I'll tell you what I do like. I like this one. You see the devil there. The green one is like, oh, okay, yeah, this is easy. You see Caleb just needs to throw a touchdown. But the red one here, Keenan Allen, look at this. He has had 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Has almost had a touchdown every game. I like Keenan Allen to have more. What say you?
I agree. I actually have a prop in with a bonus bet I had. Keenan Allen 2+ touchdowns. If anybody wants like a fun little bet.
I do like that. And
just
then
he is Caleb's favorite receiver. So.
And then Zach Charbonnet, they just ruled out, and I know this looks ugly, but they just ruled out Kenneth Walker for the rest of the year, which isn't saying a ton because there's only 2 more games. But Charbonnet did not start this Green Bay game. He didn't start this Minnesota game. Kenneth Walker came back for these. When he was the starter, this is what he did against a bad run defense. And I'll tell you right now, Chicago is a worse run defense, second worst right now in the league, than Arizona. I'm going to say more for Zach Charbonnet. I like that. And then, do you have any that you'd like to throw in here? We got 3.
Let me look closer. Sorry, guys. My eyesight is bad. Ugh. I don't know. I'm going to not comment, as I feel like I'm going to jinx. Jake and I were just talking off air, and he's much better at this than I am. I've not had good luck lately. I mean, I think that it's going to be a big game for Charbonnet.
Caleb's going to have to throw. I'm going to say 220 plus yards. I think he could do that.
Could do that. A sleeper might be Cole Kmet.
Ooh.
He might be, like, I'm not, I don't want to jinx it, but he's kind of been heating up quietly. You could say Cole Kmet. I mean, Keenan Allen is obviously his favorite receiver. You're not going to go wrong with any Keenan Allen bets.
Well, it seems like he kind of fell off, so I don't know if I would do that. But he is averaging 22.6. Yeah, look at this.
I don't know. I'm going to take a Cole Kmet prop tonight.
You know what, chat? I think I'm going to stick with what we got here. Although I kind of like the DJ more. I'm going to go with more than 57.5. So there it is. So check it out over on PrizePicks. JSN, we're taking more all the way up to, I'd say, 80. I would take more than 80. Keenan Allen touchdown. Zach Charbonnet, 69.5 rushing yards more. And DJ Moore, 57.5 receiving yards. You can do it all over on the PrizePicks app using my code JKBogan. It'll get you $50 instantly when you play at least a $5 lineup. That means win or lose, you're going to have $50 added onto your account. But that is going, I don't know what happened to our screen, but that is going to do it. Real quick, shout out to Alex. Love you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Kobe and AK going on a hunt for vintage vinyl.
Yeah.
Damn. That sounds
really
like
fun.
That'd be fun.
I feel like he's probably into vinyl.
Yeah.
So we could go shop and good idea.
Damn.
But guys, everybody, make sure you tune in tonight to the Bears-Seahawks game. If you've got nothing else going on, and cheer hard for those Chicago Bears, because like we said, if the Bears win, it's going to make things a lot easier for the Rams. But don't get your hopes up because like they're not favored, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But guys, we'll be back early next week, kind of recapping the game against the Cardinals. Until then, you can follow us on social media at Downtown Rams. You can follow me on Twitter at the Alexis Craft. You can follow Jake at JKBogan. And we'll tune into this game tonight. We'll watch the Rams Saturday night. And until next time, guys, as always, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.